Aisha probably told you this, but basically we are from NJ State and we are here on the behalf of our subject Global Perspectives. And in this subject, we talk about the problems the world is facing today and also study the perspectives of different people and experts, basically. So, for our subject, we chose the topic of femicide, and we think femicide is one of the most pivotal and pressing issues the world is facing today. And we are here to discuss the issue with you. So, we are hoping to get insight from an expert. Okay, so I'll ask the first question.
It is good.
Okay,
go ahead.
Firstly, I wanted to ask you about your views on femicide.
Okay. Largely in the police department and in Pakistani law, we use the word homicide, right? And it is not specific to gender. Awaaz aa rahi hai?
Yes, yes.
So whenever you talk to a police officer in Pakistan or probably outside, they will generally refer to the term which is called homicide, because it is, for them, it is no distinction between a gender. So world over, if we go into Scotland Yard, which is in UK, investigation department, or FBI, which is in America, there you will see and hear and words like homicide squads, homicide investigation units. So femicide is again a part of that homicide. My view is this, that in places where there is violence against women, or where the people are not well educated to manage their differences and resolve disputes, and people do not have the training to interpersonal relationships, and fourthly, they have some specific idea about genders, there the violent extremism turns into femicides. The data you can Google and you will see, probably data of many countries is not reliable, especially underdeveloped countries like Pakistan. So we rarely get a segregated data about female and the femicide and the death or the murder of the males or children or transgender, right? I'm audible. So my view is this, that in Pakistan and probably more in India, where we have seen that women do not feel safe because of more extremism in that society nowadays. These issues are there. However, this femicide is again the part of the overall extremist tendencies of the people, which results into this extreme step. And for the police perspective, as an expert, as you asked me, for the police, it is the same. Because the steps to ascertain and find out the causes of death and the motive are different in cases for the men and the women. But that also depends in which area we are talking about. Pakistan is a very large and big country. It has very diverse backgrounds, cultures, traditions, beliefs, geography. So if a crime takes place of a femicide or a homicide, it is a result of the situation and circumstances in that particular area. Okay. I hope I have answered your question.
Are women safe in Pakistan? And are they provided proper?
Sorry,
Are women safe in Pakistan and are they provided with proper rights?
I cannot understand properly. Are we?
So I'm asking, are women safe in Pakistan and are they provided with proper rights?
Are students, you mean?
No, no, I mean to say that are women safe in Pakistan and are they provided with proper rights?
Okay. So you have two questions. Are the women safe in Pakistan and do they have their proper rights?
Yes, yes.
Yes, largely, if we see that women are like now there is a distinction between rural areas. Again, I said it will be a very general statement to say that women are safe or women are not safe. If we see the number of women moving around and doing the work in Pakistan, in urban areas and also in the rural areas, the data will show that the number of incidents are not that many as it could happen in other places. The safety and security in villages where the people know each other is much higher than in urban areas where there is more unemployment and where the people do not have the local bonds with each other, and where the people have more exposure to, say, the violent movies, video games, pornography. So all those kind of things lead to different mindset, and the women which are moving around them, they become target of that. So generally also the more of the crime takes place in the urban areas, and so the crime against women takes place more in urban areas. But generally speaking, as the question is, yes, women are safer in Pakistan as compared to so many other countries with a similar level of population and area. About the women rights in generally, this is a very broad question. We have to divide it into parts, whether the woman property rights are there, probably not much in a larger scale, especially, and now this tendency is more in the rural areas. In the women in the rural areas are deprived of their property rights, but women in the urban areas where they're more educated, they have more awareness about their rights and they get more property rights. Yes, voting rights in some of the places, the right of representation has been less, like in our northwest part of the country, which included Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, Balochistan. So there, women were not encouraged to go out and cast vote. So the voting rights probably in some parts in the urban areas are more and better, but it might have also a connection between the level of education. So where there are people more aware, whether men and women, so they have more chances of protection of their rights. Where they have less education, they have probably comparatively less chances of protection of their rights. I hope I answered the question.
Yes. So the next question is, do you think the misogynistic mindset within our society the main reason that leads to femicide?
You have asked that, do I think that it is the mindset of the people which results into more femicide, right?
Yes, the misogynistic mindset, which means that the general hatred towards women, which has been built up since centuries in our society.
Yes, you're right. This is misogynistic way and thinking which is inculcated in people's mind through different means. And when a human being or children or the young men like you, they grow up, have very strong influence of three things, three areas, three environments. One is their home, other is their school, colleges, and the third is the media which they are exposed to. What kind of movies they see, what kind of their home, what kind of literature they read, what kind of TV talk shows they have exposure to, but mostly it is their home where they are at free will imbibing, getting more and more ideas about gender treatment. So it depends how your family treats you, or the women and the men's treatment at home, plus what is at school happens and what you learn from others, from your colleagues. So yes, it is a mindset problem primarily, which leads to this kind of femicide and other issues. I agree.
Right.
Next question.
So the next question is, as you said, this mindset is being brained up since centuries. So it's the like men are considered superior than women. So why do you think this is so?
Men are considered what?
Superior than women.
Why it is so?
Yes.
Okay. Traditionally, the human beings, Homo sapiens, when they were developing, they thought that the muscular power is something which is more important to live their lives. However, with the passage of time, with the introduction of technology, and they had also division of labor. So the women were doing the upbringing and reproduction, and the men took the job of agriculture, hunting, and getting the food stuff, which was important for survival. So this division of labor lines were drawn centuries old. With the latest technology, with the more information, this gender equality and awareness among the females is a very recent phenomena of 20th century. Keep in mind that first women right vote was given in probably Finland in 1920s or something like this. So this is very new thing which is happening. But before that, with the advent of the new start of industrialization after World War II, the women were given more role in the production because the men were dying or not able to cope up very long wars. So the women started coming forward and they took the role in earnings. And that gave them the power on the to have their say in the household matters. So the decision of or the division of labor because was based upon the muscular power, men naturally being considered them more powerful, they were taking over this dominant role because of the muscle power. However, with the advent of technology, what has happened that the brain power is also as important as the muscles power. So now the women are like the Nobel Prize winner in 1900 early, Madame Curie, in the chemistry, and many others, even this day. So the women have started proving in new ways of life. So that's why this balance is now coming in favor of women, which is a very positive thing, because now the physiological things aside, but I think it's the mental prowess power which is helping them to come forward, which is very important and healthy sign in today's world where we are living.
All right. Just you said that the muscular power that men possess, do you think this justifies the acts that are happening all around the world and especially in Pakistan frequently?
No, it does not. Because if you see through any framework, whether it is a religion, whether it is law, whether it is a social equality, men and women are playing the equal role. They both complement each other. One is incomplete without the other. So it is not that man is incomplete without a woman. It is a woman is also incomplete without a man. So they are two natural pair, and they have to go together for equilibrium, harmony, to make this world grow. And the history tells us a lesson that only that species survives which reproduces itself. The species which they cannot reproduce themselves become extinct. We have so many species like dinosaurs, they could not keep up with the changing environment, and now we don't see any dinosaurs. And now you see so many other species which have extinct. So for this purpose, the men and women have to live together, but more harmoniously and peacefully, and so they have more like enjoyable and beautiful world.
They're equally important for the world, basically.
They are not equally important, they are critical, they are more than that. It is impossible to live or survive as a single species. They cannot survive.
Okay, so at the start, you talked about how the cases in the underdeveloped countries are not properly given out or told to the public. So, have you ever encountered femicide or these cases? Like, how frequently do they appear, and how is the police tackling those issues?
How frequently the femicide takes place?
Yes.
I think if you see in Pakistani data, probably the number of femicide is less than men who are killed. Just because the disputes, the main reasons of killings or the deaths in Pakistani crime is over dispute over land, enmity, but probably a number which is much higher than these two is the accidents. We lose more people in accidents than due to other crimes, and mostly in those there are men. So the Pakistani society, I think there are more men who are victims than females in Pakistani society. In underdeveloping societies, I don't have data, as I mentioned earlier. You can Google it. You can find the data about the number of deaths about men and women. But there is not particular, like in some cases in movies you also watch, there are serious killers. There are serial killers and they are behind this and that. Somebody who's, so in Pakistani crime mafias, there are very rare such kind of trends. So we don't have those kind of psychopaths as we better society in that way. Okay.
So, do you think that the effort of the police regarding this issue enough? Like, are they doing enough regarding this issue?
Do I think that is the police doing enough to prevent femicide?
Are they giving their 100%? Yes.
Sorry?
Like, are the police doing
I
enough
heard
regarding this issue?
that,
Are they giving their 100%?
are they doing their 100%?
Yes.
Can you come? Okay. So we now see and understand what is the role of the police. And when in case of like there are different causes of femicides. One is the disputes, other is envy. That envy, you understand that because of some personal liking, disliking. Third one can be revenge, to take revenge, those kind of things. In cases of revenge and disputes which end up in femicide, probably we have to say the police comes. If there's a dispute between a girl and a boy in a house, a wife and a husband, or a brother and a sister, or anybody, so police is not at home. So it is the issue of the family, that how do they resolve their disputes? One thing. The second thing is when it goes to the social issues, for example, honor killings, for example, in those kind of things, they have to see the society becomes a part of it. So the police probably play a less role in prevention. They can, but not that much as the social customs and the family networks. They can play a major role. Your second part was, are they doing the 100%? The service structure in Pakistan, probably we need to much more. It is not as per expectation of the people. People want very better services from the police department. People want better service from health department. People want better service from education department, and so on. So yes, there is a need. Police can do much more. Police can create and raise awareness. Police can have a community policing liaison with the people. Police can identify if there are potential disputes and they can intervene so that they do not escalate to the level of femicide. So police can play a role. Police is not doing that, but our local leaders can play a role, but they're not doing that. Our teachers and also political representative at the ground level, they can also play a role. But because of all the people are not playing their 100% role, the result is often in case of injuries or violent steps and the violence against women. Okay.
How do you think the situation of Pakistan can be resolved?
How can I think the situation of Pakistan can be
Resolved.
sorted out? Solved. Oh, as I said, we have to sit together. We need to educate people and give them confidence that controlling your behavior, improving your attitudes towards each other, and as one of you said, the mindset, it is important to respect each other and resolve your differences in a peaceful manner. In all societies, despite how educated, how advanced, how rich they are, all nations, they have disputes. But many of them have found out the ways to resolve those disputes. The rule of law must be there. Courts should give timely decisions so the disputes of the people do not escalate or go to that level that people have to take law in their hand, take extreme measures against their own colleagues, friends, and others. Except in cases of road robberies and like street crimes, most of the crimes take place in which the victim is known to the murderer. So they are the people who know each other and they have some issues which they cannot resolve peacefully. So the situation of Pakistan can improve if we have more educated mothers, we have more enlightened fathers, if we have well-groomed children, we have very balanced and teachers. If we have these people around a child, then the result is human beings which are well-rounded personalities with good attitudes towards each other and good groundings about dealing with their issues with one another as an individual, as a group, as a community, as a society, as a nation. All right? So we have to each of us play our part well, so that when the parts will do well, the whole will do well. Okay?
Okay, so thank
You have any other
for your
question?
time. And we heard a lot of new things which we didn't know about, and you really helped us for our project and also for our own understanding. So thank you so much again. That was it.
No, thank you. It's Aisha who has been constantly in touch with me, and thank you to the whole group. You have not told me your names. If you just briefly tell me your names, and then we can close this.
My name is Ahmed.
My name is Roma.
I'm Shahid.
I'm Zephyr.
I'm Aisha.
And okay, it's a pleasure talking to all of you, and hopefully we'll meet someday in person, and then we'll have more talk.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you so
it's lovely to hear
much.
you. Thank you.